We've been going to Honduras. I think we've gone for 3 summers so far, and we have just started with a basic mission trip, and then it's kind of increased since there. And one of my goals personally was we were hoping that somebody would rise out of our congregation that could lead these trips and take part in those. I love that it's one of my good friends, Daniel Butts, and his sweet wife, and just entrust them with what they do. One of my kid actually went on this trip. He's sick this morning, but it's an impactful trip. They're trustworthy people. Daniel has such a heart for people in general, but also really specifically in the area of missions, has a vision for it, has a purpose in it. Even though he works at Pentex locally here, there's just such a heartbeat still in him for overseas missions. And so just a great impact that they've had on the trip, and you get to see the results of that this morning. But wanted to talk just a little bit about CRF and just their impact that they have. They are locally based here in Amarillo, and just some of the things that they do when we go on mission trips like this. This is their model off of their website. It's Christian Relief Fund is dedicated to helping children grow to be like Jesus by caring for their entire being and ensuring they are developing intellectually, physically, spiritually, and socially. Really, their big impact is to make sure that that kid is impacted in every area of their life. And really, they want to wage war against the line of poverty there. And they do that through education. They do that through clean water. They do that through relationships. They do that through every avenue that the gospel provides. They take advantage of it. And it's an impactful place. Campamento is. You can see it. You don't have to go there and ask God to be there. God's already there when you get there. They have done so much groundwork there. They are respected by the government and things that take place there. It is a impactful place to be. I almost say it's almost magical and unbelievable when you're sitting there and embracing all that God has done and the groundwork that has taken place there. And so it's just an impactful ministry here locally that has a global impact also that we get to partner with as a church. And so any of the funding and things, the VBF offerings and the things that we've done, we run that through CRF. One of the things that I love about them the most is they're not going to Honduras, and they'll tell this on the mission trips. We're not going to Honduras to Americanize the Hondurans. That's not the goal. That's not what Jesus would want to do. They're going to Honduras to spread the gospel, but they are going to enable the local people there to make impact on their people. And that's what I love about what CRF does. It's not one of those places that they try to go and Americanize everything. They are enabling the locals of any place that they're at, any country that they're at, to make impact in that through Jesus Christ. And so it's a great organization, Christian Relief Fund. If you want to look it up, you can do some research and do those things if you want to. Kind of what we want to do today is we're just going to ask some questions, kind of open the veil of what happened during this week. I wanted to start with Daniel and just give him the opportunity. There's been some projects that we've done in the past. There's some projects that he got to see kind of come into completion that were from this last summer till this, and then some of the things that we're doing right now. And you'll get to see some of the daycare here in a little bit where you stay, because I think a lot of people have a mindset that when you go on a mission trip, you think you're going to be staying in a tent with like wood sticks, and there's baboons and there's monkeys coming to get you all night long. And so you have this, and not saying that there's not extreme mission trips and there's not extreme things that take place, but I love when Jesus is doing things and you get down there and you get impacted. You don't care about your mattress or your pillow. You don't care about this or that or first class. You just want to make a difference. And that's how we should be, right? And so Daniel's going to talk a little bit about the things that, some of those projects that we've gotten to see. There will be pictures of the daycare pop up, and then as you see some of the pictures pop up here in a little bit, you may get to see some of those building projects that we've done. So go ahead, Daniel.
Good morning. I'm going to be brief because I want you guys to be able to hear from the team that went, but we're going to show a couple pictures. I'll give you a quick outline of what we did while we were there. So we did a vacation Bible school style lesson every single day. We did this huge community meal where we got to feed the whole community. We built food packets, 57 of them. Every single house in that community got to have a food packet. We mixed concrete for a house. I think we mixed about 1,500 pounds of concrete by hand and carried it in buckets and poured it in the house. And in the spare time, and there was basketball going on. There was always loving on kids and loving on people going on. So this picture here you're seeing here is the daycare where we actually stay. It's open top, you can see up there. So when it rains, it gets all wet, as you can see in this picture right here. But at the top, there's like a kind of dorm styles. There's bunk beds up there, and there's several of them. So, the guys stay in one, girls stay in the other. And then down here at the bottom is where their kitchen is. They prepare all the food for us. The food there is really good. Like, the food is awesome. I never heard any complaints about that. What else? So we did change things quite a bit this year. And in the past, we've gone to a bunch of different schools while we were there. So we'd go to one in the morning, we'd have a little lunch break, and then we'd go to a different school in the afternoon. So you're only seeing these kids for 2 or 3 hours max. So one of the changes that we made this year was we adopted this one school and this one community. It's called Cacao, which is Spanish for cocoa. But this is where our church has already done a lot of work there, and you'll see some of these buildings that are on these pictures. We built a kitchen there, which is a big deal because they feed the kids during school, and they were having to go off somewhere else and cook all the food and bring it to the school. So that's some of the money. The moms do that for free. They don't get paid for it. Those are some of the food packets we put together. So the $50 that a lot of you guys donated, it was able to feed a whole family with about a month's worth of staples, which is a big deal to this community that we're in, because a lot of them, they don't get to eat regular meals, so it was a huge blessing for us to get to do that. This is part of the kitchen that you're seeing. Also, with that money that was given from this church, we were able to build a second classroom because they are running out of room. And so, yeah, there we go. We did a little ribbon cutting ceremony they had for us for the kitchen and the second classroom opening up. I forgot to mention this in the first one, but I talked to the principal when we were leaving, and I said, what do you need? And I'm always kind of nervous to see what they're going to say, because sometimes they ask for something that's really hard to get, really impossible. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get that done. She said, we don't have enough desks. She's like, we need 30 more desks, because a lot of my students are standing up and writing on the wall or writing on the floor to do their schoolwork. Then she wants a refrigerator for the kitchen. I was like, that's very easy. We can definitely get that done. So this is the concrete in the house that we poured. Like I said, 1,500 pounds. We got done really quick. It only took us about 3 hours. So this is how we got around the whole time we were there. Just loaded up in a bunch of little Hiluxes with Donnie, who you just pray you make it when he's driving, and takes the little, what's it called, motion sickness patches or medicine or whatever. It's just really trusting God anytime that dude's driving. This is another thing that the money that you guys have given did, was they had just holes in the ground for their bathrooms, and so we actually got to remodel their bathrooms. They have fully functional bathrooms now, and this was from the big community meal that we were able to feed the whole community one day and then share the gospel with them. So.
Well, awesome. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask a series of questions and try to open just the book of what all kind of was impactful to each of these. We had a lot of students on this one, kind of a multi-generational trip on this one. And so we'll get to see inside of some of this. And so the first question I